Studies have shown that children having school supplies of their own improves grades, creativity, and attitudes towards learning, behavior, relationships, self-image. They empower students to be curious about the world around them, to learn and to recognize that they have choices and opportunities to make decisions, to dream and believe in possibilities.
Welcome to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast, a weekly podcast providing career and creative inspiration to help you build a purpose-filled life. If you're interested in tapping into your creative potential, pursuing a career with passion, and building on your biggest and best resource, yourself, please join me on this path. I'm your host, Nancy Moore, and I want you to know that I'm on this journey with you. So let's get started. So today I have a friend of mine who is also a sorority sister, just an amazing lady who is the founder of the Pencil Box, which is a nonprofit in Tulsa, and we're going to find out more about it. Her name is Nancy Bolzle, and I am thrilled to have her on the podcast today. So welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm thrilled to be here.
Good. Well, I would love for people to get to know you a little bit better, and then we'll get into your heart for the nonprofit that you started. So if you'll share a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you. I was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, moved to Miami, Florida when I was 2, to Houston when I was 6, and Dallas at 12. Then moved to Tulsa my senior year in high school. I attended the University of Tulsa as a sociology psychology major, then changed to education. Married a Houston boy, moved back to Houston, then back to Tulsa in 1979. I briefly taught first grade in Houston before starting our family. And my husband and I have been married for 51 years, and we have 3 sons and 2 grandchildren.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was an at-home mom.
Okay.
And I volunteered with numerous nonprofits. One of those experiences took me to the Oklahoma State Capitol in 1989 as an advocate for children, family, and education. Recognizing the opportunity to make a systemic difference, I parlayed the experience and became a contract lobbyist, representing 15 clients from healthcare to aviation, telecommunication, finance, insurance, children, and education. I retired in 2015 as I was beginning with our first distribution of school supplies at the Pencil Box. My experience at the Capitol reinforced my belief in the empowerment of education.
Mm-hmm. And you and I shared that common interest too, because I do believe that education is so important for students, and having a good education, having access to school supplies. And so we should get into that. But you started when you talked about retiring and starting the Pencil Box. If you'll tell people a little bit about the Pencil Box.
Well, Nancy, all children deserve a quality education, regardless of their zip code. Mm-hmm. Sadly, the Annie E. Casey Foundation Kids Count 2023 ranked Oklahoma 46th among the 50 states in overall child well-being and 49th for education. CNBC ranked Oklahoma education at 48, and Wallet Hub ranked Oklahoma 50th for education. Education is powerful to break the cycle of poverty. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's why the Pencil Box was created. I firmly believe that education is the gateway to best serving our children. It's the first step to overcoming poverty. The Pencil Box is a free store for teachers providing school supplies for underserved students and classroom learning in public schools throughout Tulsa County. Our mission is to empower and prepare our children, equalize the classroom, and to give students hope for a brighter future by providing the supplies essential for successful learning. Studies have shown that children having school supplies of their own improves grades, creativity, and attitudes towards learning, behavior, relationships, self-image. They empower students to be curious about the world around them, to learn and to recognize that they have choices and opportunities to make decisions, to dream and believe in possibilities. That's pretty big. That's important. School supplies are the tools for successful learning that cause children to feel self-assured and engaged, that they belong to the school and identify with the learning experience. Equal access to supplies helps alleviate feelings of difference and alienation.
Okay, so tell us about your physical location and about how you decide which teachers get to shop.
Our facility resembles a retail setting where teachers can come and select supplies specific to the needs of their students and classroom activities throughout the school year. We partner with public schools across Tulsa County, where 70% or more of the students live at or below the federal poverty level. We reference the Oklahoma Department of Education's low income report to identify the eligible schools in all 15 school districts in Tulsa County. The 2023 report currently lists 71 schools eligible to partner with us.
That's a lot.
At the start of this school year, we're serving around 29,000 students and 500 teachers in 55 schools. We anticipate serving more than 600 teachers in 59 schools with 33,000 students during the coming school year. Since our first distribution in 2015, we've given away $6 million worth of school supplies, impacting the lives of more than 200,000 students and 1,700 teachers.
That's just incredible. Okay, so if you'll tell us then a little bit about how the pencil box operates.
Well, after we invite an eligible school's principal and they accept our invitation, we meet with the faculty and explain our policies and procedures and invite the individual teachers to partner with us. As I said, our facility resembles a retail setting where the partnering teachers in grades pre-K through 12 select the supplies that they and their students need for a successful school year. We're open for teachers on Tuesdays and Wednesdays after school and on the first Saturday from 10 until 1, except school holidays. We manage and track our supplies using a point-of-sale inventory data system. Approximately 65% of our total inventory has been donated. We purchase core supplies that are not donated at reduced prices from partnering vendors. We send monthly and semester reports to our partner school principals and district superintendents about the supplies we've given their schools, which of their teachers participated, what they took, how much, how often, and the retail value were they to come to purchase these supplies at a retail store. So, Nancy, imagine as a child, how would you feel coming to school without the supplies you were supposed to have?
See, that's hard for me to fathom because that's something I look forward to is going school supply shopping and finding a backpack and, getting things on the list to go to school.
Exactly.
So I was so fortunate.
We really were.
Yeah.
For me, I'd go to the store with my mom and we'd get the supplies and then I'd spread them out on my bed and I'd get my name on, everything and get it all organized and the dividers, and all of that. Yeah, that was a big part of the excitement of going back to school. But even as an adult, can you imagine going to work and not having the tools you need to do your job? That's what our teachers find. At the schools we serve, 82% of the students arrive on the first day without supplies. 79% of the students don't have supplies at home to do their homework, and 80% of the students' families are unable to replenish supplies during the school year. Dixon Ticonderoga did a study that revealed that the typical student goes through 48 pencils a year. supplies are consumed, they're lost, they're broken. And tragically, the COVID-19 pandemic further widened the opportunity gap for students. Academically, the effects from the COVID pandemic have been significant, leaving students on average 5 months behind in mathematics and 4 months behind in reading at the end of 2021. Historically disadvantaged students have been hit the hardest. McKinsey and Company reports economically challenged students are 13 months behind academically. So the pandemic impacted not only student academics, but also the broader health and well-being of students, with more than 35% of parents reporting that they're either concerned or extremely concerned about their children's mental health due to the pandemic. So school supplies are not going to fix the whole problem, but they're definitely a critical part of the solution.
And you've been able to see that firsthand.
We have. We absolutely have.
Yeah. So if you would give people an idea about starting this organization, I know you're very kind to say we have a team, but it started with you and your heart for getting the team together and creating a board of directors and, creating what you have going. So if you'll kind of share a little bit about, starting this nonprofit and, what inspired you to do so.
Well, I was very fortunate. I learned about a free store for teachers from my son's mother-in-law, who created the concept. It evolved out of her Leadership Cincinnati project in 1995. Visiting her program in 2004 convinced me it was a program Tulsa needed. We had various organizations, churches, and businesses hosting school supply drives, and yet teachers reported that students were coming to school without the supplies that they needed. And teachers were reporting that they were personally spending an average of $500 annually out of pocket to bridge the need. Tulsa needed a concerted school supply effort. I came back to Tulsa and met with various different organizations that had previously incubated nonprofits, but I learned they were no longer doing that. So finally in 2012, still convinced that it was a program that would benefit our community, my husband and I decided that I would have to create it. The pencil box started around my dining room table with friends who had the talent, the expertise, and the conviction to make it happen.
And boy, did they make it happen, because that was 2015?
Well, 2015 right? was our first distribution. Our first board meeting was August of 2012.
Okay, so, okay, that's good to point out. So it really took 3 years of the planning, or maybe, 2.5 of the planning and prep process before that even started, because there's a process to go through to become a nonprofit, to get nonprofit status,
right.
All of that.
Right.
I'm pointing that out because people think, I'll just start a nonprofit, and it really does take a lot of legwork prior to that to do it well.
It absolutely does.
And yours has not been, fly by night. You have grown it to where it's grown to where now it's in a new, bigger location. And so there has been growth throughout these years that, has enabled teachers and kids to benefit tremendously. But I'm just wondering what the secret has been to your success with that, with the growth.
Well, I'm not sure I have the answer to the secret, but it all begins, as you mentioned, with an idea, a conviction. If one were considering starting a nonprofit, I would suggest that they find out if there's already a program doing what it is they want to do. And to understand that creating a nonprofit requires a lot of hard work and a strong fortitude. If there's not an organization addressing the need, then bring together people with the talent to create the program. Also, I would recommend that they assess their ability to connect with key people and businesses in their community to support the program.
Mm-hmm. That's such great advice, because I think people maybe, get going and then realize it's a lot harder than they thought, because they think people are just going to write checks to support it, and people are not going to do that. Tulsans are very generous with their money, but there's a lot of great organizations out there. So you really have to be an organization that kind of stands out, that has a good core, a good group of people, has a great mission, which you all do. And so, yeah, I appreciate that. So has there been a really great win in your life with either your life or the pencil box that you can share?
Nancy, my husband and my children are absolutely my greatest win in life. And then in business, I've had wonderful, talented, generous people to guide and direct me.
Yeah, but you also, I think, have such a innate ability to make great connections, and you're also just a wonderful person yourself who reaches out and helps others. So I am probably biased. I am biased, but anyway. Okay, so would you want to share an obstacle or a setback, maybe something that happened to you with the pencil box that you have learned from?
Well, as you can imagine, financing a nonprofit that gives away massive amounts of tangible product is challenging, especially during a pandemic. Mm-hmm. We depend solely on the generosity of businesses, foundations, organizations, and individuals. During the COVID pandemic, that challenge of fundraising and distributing relevant school supplies was even more so. Our first distribution of supplies, as I mentioned earlier, was in October of 2015. As you observed, our program grew quickly, and by December 2016, we were serving 32 schools. By March 2020, we were serving 55 schools and preparing to invite more schools when COVID hit.
Okay.
So not only did foundations and businesses alter their giving during this time, but we also had to cancel our annual fundraising gala in 2021 and 2022. We're still catching up financially. Mm-hmm. But, the pandemic was also a learning opportunity. With students and teachers in and out of the classroom and distance learning, we formed an advisory committee of teachers to identify what supplies were needed during that time, altered our method of distribution, drew supplies primarily from our inventory, rented a box truck, and delivered the supplies to our teachers at their schools.
So you were able to pivot.
In the past, scheduling teacher shopping for back to school was difficult because teachers' schedules were filled with meetings and orientations and preparing their classrooms prior to the start of school. So this year, we applied that learning experience to our back to school supply distribution and delivered the core student supplies and classroom supplies 2 weeks prior to the start of school. Then we reopened for in-person teacher shopping the first week of content learning.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it worked really well. Our total back-to-school distribution this year was a little over $300,000 worth of school supplies. So that's just since the start of school. That's a lot of pencils and paper and crayons and scissors and binders and rulers and protractors and compasses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's incredible. And that's those are the supplies that you have on hand probably all the time.
We try to.
Okay.
Again, I can't imagine anything a teacher would want that we don't have.
Okay. Wow.
Because so much of our inventory is donated, we have a variety that teachers really enjoy. And we have teachers who retire and give us their teaching materials, or teachers who move out of state and know that the state to which they're moving will have other requirements and give us their supplies.
Okay.
We've received supplies from numerous different sources. So yes, we have the core supplies, and that's our primary focus. That's where we put our financial focus, is ensuring that the students have the supplies they need for successful learning. But our facility really looks like an Office Depot, but it's all school supplies and teacher supplies.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Okay. So what resources have you found helpful in building the pencil box?
Well, as I said, we depend completely on the generosity, the good graces of businesses and individuals and foundations for financial and in-kind donations. As you mentioned, we are so fortunate to live in Tulsa, known nationally for its philanthropy. Tulsans have been wonderfully supportive of our program. We're also part of a national network of 40 similar programs. Each of us is autonomous. Each has its own board of directors, its own methods of distribution. We meet annually to learn from each other and to share best practices, and we support and work together throughout the year to fulfill our common good.
Okay. Yeah, that's neat. It helps to have a village.
It does.
Especially when you're giving.
Does. And especially when you're learning.
Yes.
When you're just starting your program, to have others that you can turn to and who will basically mentor your program using their experiences.
Yes. Absolutely. Now, you referenced this a minute ago about your fundraiser and how you weren't able to do it for a couple of years, but you guys are back full force. And I love the name of the fundraiser, so I'd love for you to share about the fundraiser and just some details so people know about it.
Well, Tulsa, prepare to rock, because it's time to amp up the volume at our annual fundraiser, Rock, Paper, Scissors.
I love it!
We're set for Saturday, October the 14th of this year, 2023. This year, our event is going to be in the Grand Hall at the Cox Business Center. Previously, we were at Cain's, but decided this year to move over to the Grand Hall, which is the former auditorium of the former Civic Center, where all the great acts performed in years past, prior to the construction of the BOK Center.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going to groove to the beats of Zodiac. We're going to enjoy an exciting silent auction and live auction of incredible experiences, indulge in great food and drinks, and we're going to dance the night away.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that.
Do you have details on tickets?
Our event was closed out last year, so I would encourage your listeners to buy their tickets now.
Okay.
Go to our website and purchase today.
Okay.
That website is www.thepencislbox.org
Okay.
/RPS.
Oh, for rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. Okay. Good. So you guys check that out and tell us about your needs, either with the pencil box and donations or with the gala. What needs do you have?
Providing tangible school supplies throughout the year for over 33,000 students and their teachers is huge, and it requires all of us working together. Investing in our children today determines our tomorrow. We need partners who will help finance and support our program, donate supplies, and volunteer.
So one thing that I found fascinating, I know you guys like donations, but you all have the buying power and the connections to buy. I can't remember what you said. Was it one box of crayons that somebody would normally buy? You can buy 10 boxes of crayons.
I wish we could buy 10, but it's 4.
4.
So,
okay.
Yes. So for every one box of crayons purchased in a typical
like Target or
retail store,
yeah,
we can buy 4 boxes.
So I just want people to understand that, because the dollar that you donate to the pencil box can go a lot further if it goes directly to the pencil box instead of buying the supplies.
Right. We understand that people enjoy the experience of a supply drive, the camaraderie, the bonding, and that's great. But then we would like for them to give those supplies to us so that we can distribute those supplies equitably. All the teachers have, from the low-income schools, have access to our supplies, so we can get those supplies out to the students.
Okay. Now, if you're in the Tulsa area, I'm coming to volunteer, but it's with our sorority coming up soon. But are you looking still for more volunteers? And if so, how do people reach out?
We always need volunteers. Volunteers help us inventory and process our supplies. They help when the teachers come to get supplies, either by checking in the teachers or checking them out. As I mentioned, every item that goes out of our facility has a barcode, our barcode on it. So our volunteers scan each barcode, just like a regular shopping experience. So they can simply go to our website and sign up to volunteer with us.
Okay.
Also, by going to our website, you'll learn more about our program.
Yes.
That website is www.thepencilbox.org.
Okay. Yes, perfect. Okay, so I think that wraps it up. I have enjoyed visiting with you, and I wanted to make sure I did it before your fundraiser so we can help spread the word, and then I'm looking forward to volunteering.
I'm looking forward to you and our sisters coming.
Yes.
I also want to remind people that they can find us on Facebook,
yes,
The Pencil Box, and on Instagram, The Pencil Box Tulsa.
Okay, you guys check it out. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate this opportunity, and as always, it's great to be with you.
Yes, likewise. So thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap on this week's episode. I want to thank you for listening to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast. It means the world to me, and I'd love to connect with you. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Sharing Passion and Purpose, and Twitter at Passion Sharing. Also, if you like this podcast, it would mean a lot to me for you to subscribe, rate, and review it. And as always, all my show notes will be available on my website, sharingpassionandpurpose.com.